Hey everybody, what's going on? Thank y'all for checking out this video. This is my fishing report from Lake Wedowee. I'm just gonna be kind of going over the last 2 weeks of bass fishing. So I'm uploading this video on Monday. I think it's the 17th or the 18th maybe. Uploading this video Monday the 18th. Yesterday was Easter. So I'm just gonna be kind of going over my fishing report, like what I've been doing and stuff. But I've got some tournament weights I was gonna go over first. So just kind of let y'all know what the tournament weights have been the last couple weeks. So Marine South tournament on April the 9th, 20 pounds, 2086 won. Second was 1473, third was 1450, and then 8.66 was big fish in that tournament. So 20, 14, 14, Marine South 2 Saturdays ago. The Sunday morning jackpot tournament, April the 10th, which is my most recent video. I didn't fish the tournament on April the 10th, but I was out fishing that day, and that's my most recent video. So watch that if you haven't already. I posted it on Friday. 1281, 4.45 big fish on Sunday. And then I did fish the Good Friday tournament. We didn't do any good, didn't even weigh in, but the Good Friday tournament on the 15th, 1541, and then 1475 was second, 1445 was third, and then there was a 7.45 big fish. And then yesterday, Saturday, April 16th, there was another open tournament at Wedowee. I don't know the exact weight that won, but I do know the person that won the tournament had an 8-pounder, so I don't know their exact weight, probably somewhere close to 20, 17, 18 pounds at least, somewhere, in that range. But it seems like the average weight has been 14 and a half pounds. I mean, it took 20 to win the Marine South, but all the other weights are right there on 14 pounds. That seems to be the average weight right now in the tournaments. So a little bit lower than what you would kind of expect this time of the year. But the fishing's good, but it's just kind of hard to get those better than average fish and those bigger fish this time of the year, because you've got some that haven't spawned, fish that are literally spawning right now, and then fish that are post spawn. So just kind of getting that time of the year where they're kind of tricky to get them to bite. But I was going to kind of go over what I've been doing. So starting off, how we've been catching some fish is just on a floating worm, throwing it on a spinning rod, 8-pound fluorocarbon, just a 2-aught, 3-aught hook, and a little yellow floating worm. And I've also thrown the traditional, the methylate, the pink bubblegum colors, but just throwing these around weightless, no weight, just twitching it and going in the backs of pockets, around boat docks, lay down trees, wood, just any kind of cover. Just twitch this worm around. You can get some bites. In the Good Friday tournament, I don't know how many fish we caught, probably over 20 fish. Half of them, or probably at least 12 or more, was on the floating worm. I mean, every pocket we came to that morning, I was catching one. Most of them were largemouth. They were all 14, 15 inches long. Just could not get any keepers, but I mean, we were catching some fish on it. So if you want to be able to get a bite, just throwing that floating worm around, I mean, you can literally just go down the bank and throw this thing and you'll get some bites on it, especially early in the morning. And then as the day goes on, we've just been catching some fish on a wacky worm, weightless wacky worm, just a little 2-aught circle hook, throwing a green pumpkin, watermelon, just any natural color. That's just what I've been throwing right there. Maybe put a little chartreuse dye on the tail, but just throwing that thing around kind of the same areas. But also, you can focus on some boat docks and some shade with this right here. But the lake's down about 3.5, 4 foot. It came up about a week and a half ago, and then it went back down, and now it's coming back up. So I'm not sure the exact lake level right now. I think it's about 788 and a half, full pool 793. So it's about 4.5, somewhere around the 4 foot range from being full pool. But by the end of the month, it should be right there full. But like I said, the tournament weights, I mean, there have been some good weights. I mean, 20 pounds and an 8.5 pound big fish, a 7.5 pound big fish, and an 8-pounder on Saturday the 16th. So there's been some big fish weighed in, but the overall weights aren't up there in the 22, 23, 24. I mean, in the past years, you've had some good weights like that. But to me, on the Good Friday tournament, we were getting a lot of bites early. We could not get any keeper fish, any good bites. We were running the same stuff that I did in my last video that posted on Friday from April the 10th, and I was throwing my floating worm, throwing the wacky worm, throwing a little swim jig and a top water, stuff like that, throwing a Texas rig worm, I mean, my two main baits have just been the wacky worm and the floating worm, just throwing that thing around. But we were running the same stuff that we did to catch some nice fish 5 days before, and then on tournament day we could just not make anything work. And then about 3 in the afternoon Georgia time, so 2 Alabama time, the tournament ended at 4. We pulled up in a pocket where I had caught a nice one the past week, and I looked down and there was a fish like this, nose down, tail up, okay, like straight down, nose on the bottom, tail straight in the air, and it was just rolling back and forth like this. Its gills would flare every once in a while. I couldn't tell what it was at first. The water was clean, but it was kind of deeper, and all I could see was the top of its tail about that far under the water, and I could see its gills flare every once in a while. Pitched over there, kept pitching. I could feel my bait hitting the fish, my line, you know, and I kept messing with it, I couldn't see its head, you know. All I could see was its gills flare every once in a while, and I could see its tail, and flipped in there, messed with it for like 15 minutes. Finally, I thought that my line was swimming off, set the hook, didn't have it in its mouth. I snagged it, I foul hooked it. I guess my line got in its gill, and I wound up hooking it up under the tail. Got that one in the boat. I'll pop a picture up right now. It was 5:10. I threw it back, and we just went to the house and left. We didn't even weigh in. I mean, I don't know what happened with me snagging it, but like I said, I couldn't. I mean, yes, I was sight fishing, but I couldn't see the fish's mouth. I just thought that my line was swimming off, and of course I snagged the fish. And in a tournament, you can't weigh a fish in that you're sight fishing if it's not hooked in the mouth, and of course I had it hooked in the tail. So we took a picture and threw it back, and then just went back to the house. We didn't even weigh in, but it was just a weird day. And once we saw that fish, I kind of realized why. A lot of those fish were up there trying to spawn, trying to make their beds. And there was another fish that was in there with that one, and it was another nice one, probably a 3 or 4 pounder. If it was a male, it was a big male. But like I said, that fish was nose down to the bottom, tail up. I've never seen one doing that before. I've seen them lay flat and rock back and forth, like belly down, rolling back and forth when they're laying their eggs, but I've never seen one nose down like that. I've seen them nose down on a bait once you throw it in there, but this one was just, like I said, it was just nose down to begin with. I mean, picture the head of this worm is the fish's head. I mean, it was literally like this, going back and forth. I mean, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But like I said, I foul hooked that one, took a picture and threw it back. But the fishing, like I said, we got some bites, but it was just tough. I mean, we could catch little ones, but we just couldn't get those bigger fish. But to kind of sum all this up, the fishing is good right now. You can get some bites, but it seems like, for me at least, those big bites, like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like we did the same thing the Good Friday tournament that we had done Sunday before. Same stuff, same areas, running the same type of stuff, and all the fish went from being, nice ones, 3 and 4 pounders, to 12 and 15 inchers. But that's how it goes. But like I said, if you want to get some bites, just go out there to get some bites. You can throw around a floating worm on a spinning rod. It doesn't honestly matter what color. I mean, you could probably throw a green pumpkin or a watermelon and get a lot more bites, but if you just throw these 2 colors right here, get out there, twitch that thing around, let it sink, and once that thing vanishes, that fish has got it. And then as the day goes on, you can get back in those pockets or around some boat docks and some wood and shade and stuff like that. Just pitch that little wacky worm around, skip it up under some boat docks and some blowdowns and stuff like that. You can get some bites and catch some fish. And the thing is, you could go out here and do the same exact stuff as me, fish the same areas, and probably you'd have a chance to catch 20 pounds or 12 inches. That's the thing about this time of the year. These fish are on the move, and like I said, a lot of them are up there spawning and getting ready to lay their eggs, and a lot of them have already laid their eggs. So it's just kind of getting that time of the year where you've got some post-spawn fish and some fish that are on the bed locked on, and it kind of makes fishing sort of tough. But I mean, the weights, like I said, I don't know the weights from the most recent tournament on Saturday, but I know the weights from the Good Friday tournament. The weather was awesome. The water's in the mid 60s. I mean, we put the boat in Friday morning. It was in the water overnight at the boat dock, and it was 63.5, and then it got up to like almost 70 on Friday. I mean, the water's perfect temp. The fish are biting, but it's just, they're kind of in that in-between. But about another week and a half, those big fish will kind of get moved off the bed, and they'll get back out there cruising and pull back out to some of their some of their secondary points and some boat docks and brush and stuff like that, and they'll be a little bit easier to catch. But right now it seems like they're kind of in like a little funk, and you gotta really get it in front of one or really kind of catch it off guard to make it bite. But like I said, if you just want to go out there and catch some fish, just get up there shallow, throw the wacky worm, throw the little floating worm around, and you'll definitely be able to catch some fish. But thank y'all so much for checking out this video. I just kind of wanted to go over some of the tournament weights and the water, how the water level was and water temp. Like I said, water's about 4 foot low, water temp's in the mid 60s. I mean, it's 10 o'clock right now in the morning, and I got a hoodie on, but I could go ahead and take it off. I mean, it's nice. I think the warm weather is here to stay. The lake's about to get full and the fishing's about to get good. So y'all stick around on my channel, and if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. The fishing's about to get good. Lake's about to get full. I mean, the fishing already is good, but it's about to get really fun when the lake gets full. You can get in some areas that haven't been able to access since the water's been low, but it's just a good time of the year to be fishing. So just get out there and just go fishing up shallow. You can get some bites, and here in the next couple weeks, then fish are going to start moving back out. You can catch them on the points and the secondary points and just stuff like that. But definitely, if you just want to go catch some fish and have a good time, you can't go wrong with a little floating worm and a little wacky worm that's just a little green pumpkin, just like that right there. But other than that, that's about it for my little fishing report. Hope y'all have a good Easter. And like I said, thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll see y'all next time.